After an epic 18-inning night for Game 3 of the World Series, the Jays are down 2-1. They look to tie the series with the Dodgers in L.A. in Game 4 tonight. We have live coverage from Dodger Stadium. And that live coverage continues right here at home with the watch party at Rogers Center, where 27,000 showed up for last night's 6-hour, 39-minute game, with 1,000 staying until the very end. CP24's Beatrice Vaisman is live with the fans. And other headlines at home: carjacked in Etobicoke, 2 sent to hospital. CP24's crime analyst Steve Ryan has a live update from the scene. Dangerous and life-threatening situation used to describe Hurricane Melissa downgraded from a Cat 5 to a Cat 4 as it's over the island of Jamaica. This is Live at 5. Good evening. I'm Bakari Savage. Welcome to Live at 5. Well, the Jays and Dodgers are going to meet again tonight in Los Angeles for Game 4 after an epic marathon Game 3 last night.
High fly to center. Varsho back. Game over.
And that, Freddie Freeman hit a solo home run in the bottom of the 18th inning to lift the Dodgers to a 6-5 victory, giving them a 2-1 lead in the series. It was the second longest game in World Series history, lasting 6 hours, 39 minutes. Well, Dodgers superstar Shohei Ohtani, who hit 2 homers last night, is going to get the start for L.A. CTV's Raheem Ladani joins us live from inside Dodger Stadium. Raheem.
Hey, Bakari, Ernie Clement said after yesterday, I'm tired as HE double hockey sticks, but I expect us to be firing tomorrow. And that's what the Blue Jays need to be doing. They need to fire on all cylinders tonight. You can't have long-term memory. Sorry, you need to have short-term memory if you're a Toronto Blue Jays player, right? Yes, it was a tough loss, but you can take good pieces away from yesterday. They were down 2-0 early, and they fought back. Alejandro Kirk had an incredible home run. And then we saw Vladdy Guerrero Jr. with some incredible base running, right? And that put the Jays back in the game, and they were able to take out the Dodger crowd for short periods of time. If they can replicate that, if they can also replicate the traffic they got on the bases, however, tonight actually cash them in, there's a much greater chance that they'll be able to have success tonight. The Jays are only down 1 game, and I know it was a tough game, but John Schneider also said last night the Dodgers didn't win the World Series last night. They won 1 game. We've been chatting with fans across LA about how they're feeling about the Toronto Blue Jays. A lot of them have come from out of town to watch them. Have a listen.
I think the boys grinded it out. They put everything out there, right? But it's the way baseball goes, right? So I think today they'll come back. A couple of the boys are rested. They pulled a little bit early, but I think they're going to come through, and I think it's going to pay some dividends for the team today.
The biggest thing with the Jays is everyone writes them off, right? And today I think everyone's writing them off once again, and I think they're gonna pull out and have a big win here at Dodger Stadium and send us back to Toronto for Game 6 eventually.
So this is a beautiful shot of Los Angeles, California. You can see the mountains, you can see the open air stadium, and you can see the throngs of media, of course, and you can also see the Los Angeles Dodgers as they get ready to take the field, to throw the ball around a little bit, do a little batting practice. We're still a few hours away from the first pitch, certainly. We'll be hearing from John Schneider soon. Hopefully we'll get an update when it comes to George Springer and his status. On the mound tonight for the Blue Jays, it's Shane Bieber, while for the LA Dodgers, is it of course, the unicorn, Shohei Ohtani himself. Now, he played 18 innings yesterday, so how's he feeling? Maybe the Jays get him on a bit of an off day, right? And they can strike iron there. So we'll have to see how this happens. But the Jays just need to focus on today, not the big picture. You need to win 1 in LA to force the series back to Toronto, Bakari. And if the Jays can keep that mindset, they can have success.
Okay, live from Dodger Stadium in LA, CTV's Raheem Ladani. Well, the LA Dodgers, here speaking to reporters, this is ahead of Game 4 of the World Series with the Blue Jays tonight. Let's listen right now. I believe Dodgers manager Dave Roberts is speaking.
He is as the pitcher. Last night when you guys went and checked on him, just kind of managing that cramping, what do you learn about a guy like him on the stage like this when he wants to stay out there and also understanding that he is going to be today's starter? And how have you learned just kind of managing him in these moments?
It's trust. It's kind of getting to know the person, the player, and what his limitations are. He was not going to come out of the game at that point, but if later on in the game, if there was a run scoring situation, I potentially would have taken him out, but I didn't want to just kind of take him out of the game for fear that, his spot was going to come up again, which it ended up coming up, 3 or 4 times. But yeah, he's in great shape, very well conditioned. I expect him to be ready for today, and this guy is a different kind of athlete and a different brain.
Bill, up front on your left.
Yeah, Dave, if we told you a month ago that you would have been considering the idea of putting a position player in to pitch in a tied World Series game, would you have assumed that you were under the influence of one of those sleep aids?
Absolutely, Bill. Yes, I would have thought I was under the influence of something, for sure.
And Will Smith caught all 18 innings last night. What did you think of that effort? How much consideration did you give to A, pulling him last night, or B, not starting him today?
So I texted him this morning and said, how do you feel? He said he felt great, which I would expect that. I was trying to hold as long as I could because I felt, again, certainly when we got to the end over there with their pen, they were just left-handed pitchers and they were going to run Lauer. So to have him in there, potentially we still needed to find a way to score. But if there was a situation where I needed a run for him, I had a couple guys ready and Ben was ready. But I was trying to hold on to him as long as I could.
JP?
And just to follow up on that, do you have any degree of concern with his hand, and is that something that you're watching and seeing how he responds to?
No, I haven't heard anything about his hand in a couple weeks, so I'm sure it's not 100%. But yeah, yesterday's 18 innings was certainly incredible, and so that's something I'm probably going to keep more of an eye on than the hand.
Far back on your right, Dave.
Okay, so we've been listening live to Dodgers manager Dave Roberts. He's speaking to media. This is ahead of Game 4. Hey, keep in mind the time difference. It's 5 o'clock here, 2 o'clock Pacific. So he's been speaking to the media for just over almost 20 minutes now, since 1:45. Dodgers batting practice, that should have started just a few minutes ago. We should be hearing from one of the Blue Jays coming up shortly, IKF. We're going to bring that to you live as soon as that happens, and he'll be followed by Blue Jays manager John Schneider. Okay, for Jays fans that stayed up for last night's game, look, you're probably a little bit tired today. There's another sold-out watch party at the Rogers Center for tonight's game. Let's go live to CP24's Beatrice Faisman, who's checking in on how fans are feeling after the Dodgers took a 2-1 series lead. Wait, Beatrice, how are you feeling? You staying awake?
A little tired, BK. I'm not going to lie. Looking forward to the end of the shift so I can go home and close my eyes because it just feels so good. Hit the snooze button a few extra times this morning. But listen, for the fans inside here last night, there was 27,000 of them when the game started. 1,000 dedicated Jays fans at 2:53 in the morning when the game finally wrapped up. But as you said, it's going to be another sold-out crowd in here tonight to cheer on the Blue Jays playing October baseball. I just put Alejandro out here. You're going back in today. You were here last night to the bitter end. Why?
Because I just want to see if the Blue Jays can handle like an 18th inning. But at the end, the Dodgers find a way, and let's hope that doesn't happen tonight.
Yeah. How much sleep did you get last night or this morning?
Well, when I left the stadium last night, I got to the 307 bus up to the South Island to get off. I fell asleep at 5 a.m. But I got enough sleep, and I'm energized for tonight.
Yeah, tell me about what you are hoping to see from the boys tonight when they take on Shohei Ohtani, who's going to be on the mound.
Well, that's the good news, because that way we don't need to handle him on the batting, because last night it was a good thing that John Schneider made him walk a few times, but I don't know why he did not do it the last time. So let's hope we could handle his pitching. And I'm also wondering if Joe Springer is set back in, because I'm wearing his jersey right now. But let's hope we win this game and win the next ones.
Let me ask you a last question. How are you feeling about Freddie Freeman today after he hit the home run? You're wearing the Canadian flag. He's a dual citizen too.
Yeah, it's crazy that a Canadian player who's playing with the enemy did that home run, but I bet this time will be a different outcome.
We hope so. Thank you for your time. Enjoy the game tonight. Fans, Bakari obviously tired but still hopeful. They feel as though the Blue Jays can still get this done. I mean, obviously they went 18 innings toe-to-toe with the behemoth LA Dodgers yesterday, who, by the way, finished the game with pretty much all of their starters. We were down Springer, Bichette, Kirk, Barger. So if we can get the whole starting lineup in for the entirety of the game, I mean, we'll wait and see what Springer's update is in terms of his condition after he left the game yesterday. But should be a good one to watch, and obviously Jays fans will be cheering on the boys all the way. Bakari.
Yeah, and what's that slogan? I want it all.
We want it all. We want it. It's just want it all. Actually, you can see it right here. The stanchion's already going up. Want it all. And there's a big Blue Jays home run horn vehicle driving around the city as well. If you see a Blue Jay or hear a Blue Jay hit a home run, that horn is going to sound, and you know it's good news for the Toronto Blue Jays. Bakari.
All right, live outside of Rogers Center, CP24's Beatrice Vaisman. Okay, it's 5:11. Let's get a check on the evening commute with CP24's traffic specialist, Adjoa Nsiaya-Boa.
Well, Bakari, if for commuters that are maybe going to the watch party, it's going to take them a while. It's slow on most of the major area highways, and we have a couple of problems sprinkled in the mix. So we'll start with issues that are happening on the 401. And this is on the 401 if you're traveling on the eastbound side. In the collectors, just on the approach to Renforth, it is the two left lanes that are blocked with this collision. So it looks like you just have that one right lane getting by. Then if your travels take you on to the westbound 401, looks like problems as well. Westbound 401, just as you make your way past McCowan in the express. Stalled vehicle does have the left lane occupied, also adding to your slow go. Northbound on the 400 gets really busy right on off the 401. Southbound's busy, but northbound is busy for a reason. As you approach Finch, my camera went out. There is a multi-vehicle collision that is blocking the two right lanes. And I was talking about the drive on the Gardner. If you're trying to get into or out of the downtown core, very slow going, especially if you're going to the Dome to watch any of those watch parties for the Jays game tonight. I'll send it back to you, Bakari.
This CP24 traffic report is brought to you by 407 ETR. Enjoy the journey with a stress-free commute.
It's 5:12, 10 degrees. This is Live at 5. The Ford government plans to limit debate and skip public hearings on its speed camera bill. We're going to have reaction from opposition parties coming up. Had a man seriously injured after being shot during a carjacking in Rexdale. For the very latest, let's go live to CP24's crime analyst, Steve Ryan. He's at the gas station where this happened. Steve.
Yeah, Bakari, what separates a auto theft from a carjacking is the use of or threat of violence. And in this particular case, police believe that a gun was not only produced, but it was used as well. So we are at a gas station on Rexdale Boulevard between Queens Plate to the west and Highway 27 to the east. Police tell us that this happened at 2:30 this morning. A man in his 40s and a woman in her 30s were the victims. We're showing you a B-roll of it, of the scene from earlier this morning. A man in his 40s, woman in her 30s were both victims of this carjacking. The man was shot, suffered or sustained non-life-threatening injuries. He was taken to hospital, and the woman was assaulted. And as a result, the police are now actively looking for a suspect or multiple suspects. There's no word on any suspect description as of right now. It's something the police are still working on. But what I can tell you is that once we come out of this B-roll, I'll show you the surveillance cameras that are on this property, and they are going to be very valuable. So we'll show you the surveillance camera, and I'm told that the part of the occurrence happened just to the north of that surveillance camera. So there should be some pretty good images on that camera for police as they actively work to find the people that were responsible for this carjacking that again happened at 2:30 this morning. Police are looking for witnesses as well. If you were in the area, particularly on Rexdale Boulevard near Queens Plate and Highway 27, or you were in the Woodbine Mall parking lot for some reason or other at 2:30 this morning, if you saw something that you found kind of suspicious, the police are asking that you.
Okay, live in Etobicoke, CP24's crime analyst, Steve Ryan. Well, the Ford government wants to limit debate and avoid public input on 3 sweeping bills, including one that would ban automated speed enforcement cameras. So Government House Leader Steve Clark is proposing to fast-track a red tape reduction bill that includes banning speed cameras, a labor bill, and an emergency management bill. And Premier Ford has repeatedly called the cameras cash grabs and says that his government will invest in infrastructure to make roads safer.
Don't you think that's one that the public and advocacy groups might want to weigh in on?
The line minister indicated to me that they were fine with the debate in the House, and it's a priority of the government that clearly was indicated right at the highest levels, and that's why I scheduled it the way I did.
So you're just fast tracking the bills because the respective ministers asked you to?
Yeah, I'm not a member of cabinet, so cabinet's decided through those 3 line ministers how they want it scheduled, and my job, as you know, as House Leader, is I'm the scheduler.
This government doesn't want to debate the issues. They want to push through things. They don't want to have any opportunity for the public or people who are going to be impacted by legislation to have a say in the decisions that are going to impact them. It's more of the same, but it's getting worse and not better.
They just figure they can do whatever they want, and that people aren't paying attention. It's hard. People are busy. They don't understand the processes that we go through here, right? But they're important. You got to take time. You got to get it right. You got to listen to the other side. And the government's not listening. They're not listening to us. They're not listening to their own members, and they're definitely not listening to the people of Ontario. And when you fast track stuff like this, the way that they're doing it, it doesn't serve anybody, and it makes for really bad pieces of legislation.
More than 20 mayors from across the province have previously asked Ford to tweak the speed camera program instead of scrapping it entirely, but he swiftly rejected their call. It's 5:18, 10 degrees. This is Live at 5, and we're following developing news. Hurricane Melissa has made landfall in southwestern Jamaica near New Hope. We have an update in moments. Hurricane Melissa has lost some strength after making landfall in southwestern Jamaica, but it continues to be a dangerous storm, causing heavy flood and wind damage. Melissa hit the island as a Category 5 storm with sustained winds of 185 kilometers an hour. It's now a Category 4 with winds right around 230 kilometers an hour. The Jamaican government said it had done all it could to prepare, as it warned of devastating damage from the fiercest hurricane to hit the island since record-keeping began 174 years ago.
If you look at the entire population of Jamaica, it's going to feel an impact. This is a massive, massive storm. It stretches hundreds of kilometers wide. Its impacts are going to be felt, have been felt actually days in advance. Rains have been pouring. And what we're saying is it's the scale of need that's going to impact the people of Jamaica. And we need to make sure that we save as many lives as possible. We support as many people as possible to get out of harm's way.
And Melissa is the strongest storm to make landfall since Hurricane Dorian in 2019, with experts saying that it is a worst-case scenario unfolding in Jamaica. Landslides, fallen trees, and numerous power outages were reported right after Melissa came ashore. Well, the storm is expected to slice diagonally across Jamaica before heading for Cuba. And Jamaican officials say that the cleanup and damage assessment will be slow. Well, CTV News spoke to some Torontonians with family in Jamaica who are bracing for this powerful storm.
It's very scary. Yeah, very scary. There's not much she could do when it really pours. It's just that she just have to hope it doesn't come to her side. Yeah, that's pretty much what you could do right now.
Well, I don't know where they are at right now, but I know some of them are at home same way, okay?
And a Toronto-based aid group is mobilizing to help Jamaica. Global Medic's rapid response team is packing emergency kits to send to the hardest-hit areas. The kits contain essential items, including water purification systems, hygiene items, and a solar light. Global Medic also has teams on the ground collecting data, which provides critical information to emergency responders when delivering aid.
Because where the storm is, we know typically one of the airports, the bigger airports in low-lying areas, so even if the airport withstands the hit, the towns around it might be flooded. So if we put aid into there, we might not be able to get that aid out immediately. Whereas we're hoping Mobay's airport won't be as badly impacted and it'll have better infrastructure on the roads around it to land that aid in and then get it out to folks. But we're not going to know until the storm passes.
Families are going to be devastated. So Global Medic is ready to deploy as soon as aid is required. Our teams are going to be able to deploy with our Aqua Response 3 units. So these are large point of source water purification units that can be put in places like feeding kitchens, schools, community gathering centers, and can purify clean drinking water for families in need. We also have our rescue AV team that is going to be able to deploy with our drones. So those can be used by government organizations to map different affected areas.
To donate or volunteer, just go to globalmedic.ca. It's 5:23, 10 degrees. This is Live at 5. Budweiser Stage has a new name and is getting a makeover. We're going to take a look at the plans coming up. Budweiser Stage has been rebranded. It's set to shut down for renovations in a couple of years as part of the redevelopment of Ontario Place. Let's go live to CP24's Andrew Brennan, who's outside the venue tonight. Andrew.
Yeah, good afternoon, Bakari. And the big change coming here is not just that the Budweiser Stage will be closed for almost 2 years, but it's also the fact it's getting a new name. And for Torontonians out there, you may have a lot of different names for this thing in your heart, whether it's before the Molson Amphitheater. What was that called? The Life Forum? I wasn't born yet. But Amphitheater of Molson, and then the Stage of Budweiser, and now we have the RBC Amphitheater. You're seeing some mock-ups now of what is going to be, according to some of the leaders of Live Nation, a year-round venue. Not normal for a lot of amphitheaters. You know, they come from ancient Greece, where they didn't happen to need a lot of cold, worry about the cold in winter as much as we do here. But the plan is by 2027, in the spring, this venue will close and reopen in 2029 for only the summer parts, or spring to late fall. And then in 2030, Bakari will reopen again as a full year-round venue with an 18,000 person capacity, including expanding the lawn. Here's some more from some of the VPs at Live Nation.
A new acoustically tuned space frame canopy will utilize an operable fabric enclosure, giving the amphitheater four-season use with a winter capacity of roughly 9,000 fans. A second pedestrian bridge will be added to make getting to and from the venue easier and faster. There will be a new lookout on the edge of the east edge of the lawn, increasing capacity, but also providing elevator access to the lawn to ensure that all areas of the venue are accessible.
All right, so two things. One, it does remain to be seen if it will be easier to get to this venue by the time it does reopen. One, as a renewed summer venue, and then an ultimate year-round venue, because of two things. One, other construction plans for whether it's the Garden or that. Don't forget that project does have other phases to it. And then two, it also has to deal with the other tenant of the Ontario Place grounds now, Bakari. The Therme Spa is over there. It's also seen some construction delays, and these projects are very, very close to each other. And for people that are trying to get here, construction could potentially spill out into the street like it is right now on the eastern side of the Ontario Place grounds. So that's one thing to bear in mind. And the second thing is looking at acoustics for an amphitheater. That's something that will have to be, it'll be in the perceiver. Not perceiver. It'll be the ears of the people going that'll ultimately make that decision. For now, though, we'll send it back to you. And just in case, I did lose my feed, so I can't hear you. Bye, Bakari.
Okay, reporting live, CP24's Andrew Brennan. It's 5:29, 10 degrees. This is Live at 5. And we're live inside Dodger Stadium. This is where Shohei Ohtani is going to get the start in Game 4 of the World Series. The Dodgers have a 2-1 lead in the best-of-7 series against the Jays. We're taking you live to L.A. next. After an epic 18-inning night for Game 3 of the World Series, the Jays are down 2-1, looking to tie the series with the Dodgers in L.A. in Game 4 tonight. We have live coverage from Dodger Stadium. And that live coverage continues right here at home with the watch party at Rogers Center. That's where 27,000 showed up for last night's 6-hour, 39-minute game, with 1,000 staying until the very end. CP24's Beatrice Vaisman is live with the fans. And other headlines right here at home: carjacked in Etobicoke, 2 sent to hospital. CP24's crime analyst Steve Ron has a live update from the scene. And a dangerous and life-threatening situation. Words used to describe Hurricane Melissa downgraded from a Cat 5 to a Cat 4 as it's over the island of Jamaica. This is Live at 5. Good evening. I'm Bakari Savage. Welcome to Live at 5. The Jays and the Dodgers are going to meet again tonight in Los Angeles for Game 4 after an epic marathon Game 3 last night.
High fly to center. Varsho back. Game over.
Freddie Freeman hit a solo home run in the bottom of the 18th inning to lift the Dodgers to a 6-5 victory and giving them a 2-1 lead in the series. It was the second longest game in World Series history, lasting 6 hours, 39 minutes. Well, Dodgers superstar Shohei Ohtani, who hit 2 homers last night, will get the start for L.A. CTV's Raheem Ladani joins us live from inside Dodger Stadium. Raheem, it's a lot louder now.
Hey, Bakari, yeah, you're absolutely right. We're inside the concourse now. Now that the gates are open, the fans are flooding into Dodger Stadium. It's not just Dodgers fans. We've got some Jays fans for you. I want to introduce you first to Kiefer and Greg. You two are from Ottawa, and you were here at the game yesterday. Let's talk about that historic event. Kiefer, describe the atmosphere for our audience.
Oh, it was wild. It was back and forth. Probably the best game I've ever been to. I mean, didn't get much sleep last night, but glad to be here again today.
Greg, I want to ask you, because this is a historic game. This is going to go down in the history books, all right? 18 innings, 6 hours, 39 minutes. You were part of history. I know the Jays didn't come out on top, but what do you think about that?
I mean, it was just amazing to experience it live. I don't think there's anything to compare. Probably the best sporting event I've ever been to. So just have that atmosphere and be here and watch the whole thing. You don't even realize how long you've been there.
And not only did you not realize, but you decided to come back again today. How are you feeling right now?
You know what? We didn't do much today. We just slept and caught up on our sleep a little bit. We've been up for 24 hours just to get here yesterday. So, you know, and then you get pumped even though we lost. You know, you're just so pumped with the game that it takes you a little while to calm down after that.
Well, hopefully there will be a lot of cheering today. So if the two of you enjoy the game, we appreciate it. We got a couple more Jays fans over here. You're from Edmonton?
Yes, sir.
Ajax? Yeah. Tell me your name. When did you get here?
Braden got here, drove in from Phoenix about 30 minutes ago.
Why did you want to be here for this game?
Oh, can't miss. It's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity to get to watch Ohtani pitch tonight against the Blue Jays. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Let's talk about Ohtani. We'll get to Ajax in just a second, okay? Ohtani's on the mound tonight, and he also played 18 innings yesterday, so it'll be interesting to see how he responds on the mound. In his last outing, he was dominant, no question about it. 10 strikeouts, 3 home runs on his own. John Schneider, though, said they're likely going to take the bat out of their hands, and so we'll have to see how Ohtani pitches on the mound and what happens with the bat when he's at the bat. Take a listen to Dave Roberts, the bench boss for the LA Dodgers, and he talked about what to expect from Shohei tonight.
I think with Shohei, feels good today. I think it's one of those we're just going to read and react. No expectations, just kind of see how he feels, how he looks, and then go from there. And obviously, last night was taxing on both clubs' pens, but it's kind of an all hands on deck situation. You kind of figure out who's available and who feels good enough to pitch tonight.
Okay, I'm here with Adam from Ajax. Adam, tell me how you think the boys are going to respond tonight.
They're going to have to come out swinging. I know the bats were a little dry yesterday. There was some questionable calls by Schneider, too, taking out some of the big boppers that led to the game going that long, in my opinion. But let's see if things pan out today. And they got to get to Ohtani early, first and foremost. I think that since they went 18 innings, even though he was only batting, he did have that cramp in his leg at some point in the extra innings there. So we'll see if it affects his performance on the mound today.
He should be on TSN. He's pretty good, eh? Well, Bakari, lots of Jays fans here. They're knowledgeable fans that they're hoping to cheer a lot tonight. I'll send it back to you.
Okay, live from inside Dodger Stadium in LA, CTV's Raheem Ladani. Well, the Jays are speaking to the media in Los Angeles. Again, this is ahead of Game 4. Let's listen live.
Is it a bleak or something else? Or?
No, it just said hour to hour.
And is Savage your Game 5 starter?
Yeah, Trey's tomorrow.
And then looking back at last night, the way the game played out, would you be in favor of the Ghost Runner sticking around in the postseason games?
I don't know. I'd be in favor of the challenge system that's being implemented next year. Ghost runner, I don't know. I'm kind of a traditionalist when it comes to baseball. It's kind of unique because that's how you play for 162, and then that, goes away. But with that, I think you got to structure your roster accordingly to try to handle some of those situations. So, I don't know.
Fifth row, your left, Tyler.
John, kind of speaking of the ghost runner in terms of baseball's willingness to change rules that we've had for a long time, if there were to put in a rule sometime and say you can only intentionally walk a guy like one time a game, would that be something that you would agree with, disagree with? And what do you think about that idea?
I haven't thought about it. Intentional walk's a part of the game, so yeah, I haven't thought about that at all. Seen it happen to some of my players quite a bit, and I don't think that rule's coming anytime soon. I don't think. I think if that rule comes in, they should also put in a rule that if you're a starting pitcher and you're done pitching, you can't hit.
Go one row ahead to Gabe.
Hey, John. If it came down to you having to use a position player last night, who might have been the choice among the group that was still in the game?
To pitch?
Or would that have not come?
Shane Bieber.
Okay. And with obviously the ramifications of today, win or lose, how do you sort of balance the urgency of going to get Shane when maybe you think you might need to versus what all your guys are coming off from last night?
Everyone is available tonight except for Lauer. Again, some in longer spurts than others, and you kind of just read the situation. You're never expecting an 18-inning game, right? Postseason, you can kind of, you can look at it historically. There's a higher chance for some extra innings, but not 18 because of the no ghost runner and things like that. But it's I'm going to trust Shane as much as we can and give him every chance to really go out and execute.
We'll stay there, Rashai.
Okay, so we've been listening live to Jays manager John Schneider. He did say Trey Savage is going to be Game 5 starter tomorrow. He also said that he'd be in favor of the challenge system being instated next year. He was also asked about the ghost runner and said that he hadn't really thought about it. So, okay, for you guys, keep in mind the 3-hour time difference. So it's still in the 2 o'clock hour there. IKF was speaking to the media just before Schneider. Batting practice for the Jays, it starts at 3:15 local time. That is going to be 6:15 our time. Of course, we're going to have live updates for you throughout the evening and afternoon and night. Right now, let's go back to the Rogers Center. This is where Jays fans, listen, they stayed up for last night's game. They're probably feeling pretty tired. There's another sold-out watch party happening right there at the Rogers Center tonight. This is where we find CP24's Beatrice Vaisman live. Beatrice.
Bakari, 27,000 fans inside the Dome yesterday for an away game, just to experience the thrill of the Blue Jays playing in the World Series together. By the time everything was done at 2:53, there's about 1,000 fans still left. But these fans, they're dedicated. I've just met some of those fans outside the Dome. You guys are all going back in today. First of all, how much sleep did you get?
Only a couple hours sleep last night, but it's all worth it because it's a lifetime experience to be here, to see the Jays on the big screen, although we would wish to see them here, but what can you do? It's all for the fun and experience too.
Yeah, let's hope they come back for Game 6, and then you'll have a chance to see them here. Let me ask you, we just learned Trey Savage is going to start Game 5. Not a huge surprise. What do you think of that news?
I think it's good news. I think he's going to be himself and do good.
Yep. And what did you make of how the boys played last night? It was a marathon. It was a slog.
They played great. Didn't get many hits in the extra innings, unfortunately. They sort of tired out, I guess you'd say, something to that nature. But they hung in as long as they could for a game out of town, so that was pretty good of them, but unfortunately they didn't get the win.
Were you awake for all 18 innings?
No, I was only up for 16. I fell asleep. I had to get up early today anyhow, and I'm sort of paying for it now.
Yeah, no question about it. Let me ask you, a lot of the starters, they were out by the time the game was over last night. There was no Bichette, there was no Barger, there was no Kirk. Springer was out, seemingly injured. Do you think they have the stamina to get out there again today and get this done?
I think they did, because I listened to our coach this morning on the news, and he also said they were a little bit tired last night, but tonight they're all ready. They're going to be pumped. Hopefully we can bring the W back to Toronto as well tonight, just for the fans at least, too.
Do you think it'll be different for them facing Shohei Ohtani on the mound tonight, considering, I guess, how well he played yesterday?
It'll be a little bit different and a little bit tough, but both teams at this point are equally good together, too.
And they're equally tired, too.
Correct, yeah.
Thank you, guys. Enjoy the game. As another sold-out crowd here, Bakari, I mean, this is just an awesome way to experience the fact that the Jays are playing in Los Angeles. They're away, but you still get to sit in the stands and be with other Jays fans to cheer on the boys. I'm sure they'll hear it all the way in Los Angeles tonight, hoping for a W in Game 4, Bakari.
Okay, live outside of Rogers Center, CP24's Beatrice Vaisman. It's 5:42, 10 degrees. This is Live at 5. And police are searching for suspects after a man in his 40s was shot during a carjacking in Rexdale. We're going to have a live update on the investigation from CP24's crime analyst, T. Ryan, coming up next. A man is seriously injured. This is after being shot during a carjacking in Rexdale. For the latest, let's go live to CP24's crime analyst, Steve Ryan, who's at the gas station where this happened. Steve.
Bakari, what distinguishes an auto theft from a carjacking is, of course, that people are inside the car when it's being taken, and there's the threat or use of force. And this is what police allege happened at this gas station here on Rexdale Boulevard near Queens Plate and the 427, or the 27 rather, at 2:30 this morning. Police say that a man in his 40s and a woman in her 30s were showing you B-roll of the scene earlier this morning. Both of these people were injured as a result of their car being taken from them. The man, in fact, was shot, and he has non-life-threatening injuries, and the woman was assaulted and injured as a result, and she too has non-life-threatening injuries. So this has been the location of the police investigation throughout the morning. There is no word yet on suspect or suspects, nor is there any description of the vehicle that was taken, but that will come in time once the police are able to gather that information. They are, of course, looking for witnesses or anybody that has information pertaining to this occurrence. What I did notice, though, Bakari, was that, and I'll show you right out of the B-roll here, this property has very good surveillance cameras on it. And once we come out of the B-roll, I'll point to those cameras, and I'm told that the occurrence itself, you can see the cameras that we're showing you right now, the occurrence happened just on the other side of those cameras. So if a camera does not deter somebody from committing an offense, what it does do is gather very valuable evidence for investigators, and they're able to use that to identify who was responsible for this shooting and this carjacking here in Rexdale at 2:30 this morning. Again, police are asking for witnesses or anybody with information, so if you have anything pertaining to this occurrence at 2:30 this morning, you are being encouraged to give the Toronto Police a call. I'll send it back to you.
Okay, reporting live, CP24's crime analyst, Steve Ryan. It's 5:47, 10 degrees. This is Live at 5. The province is proposing removing its portion of HST on new homes for first-time buyers. We're going to take a closer look at this next. The Ford government is proposing removing the provincial portion of the HST on most new homes for first-time buyers. The province says that it'll rebate 8% of the tax on new homes valued up to $1 million. It says that would save buyers up to $80,000 when combined with existing provincial relief. The government also claims that the measure would spur the construction of more homes in addition to bringing down costs. However, it says implementation of the rebate, that is subject to the passage of legislation, which would remove the federal portion of the HST for first-time buyers. Ontario Finance Minister Peter Bethlenfalvy spoke to CP24 about the proposal today.
I talk to Ontarians right across the province, and, you know, housing has gone up a lot in the last couple of decades. And so that people are struggling in this environment to be able to afford that first home, that dream of the first home. And this is going to make it easier for them to achieve that dream.
Ontario NDP leader Maura Sal says that she supports the HST rebate, but wants the government to do more to boost the province's housing supply.
What home are we going to be buying? Where are they? The government has given up on their commitment completely to build 1.5 million homes. They don't even want to talk about any kind of targets. They've given up completely. And people that we have been training to do the work to build those homes are unemployed right now.
The measures announced today will be included in Ontario's fall economic statement. That's set to be tabled November 6th. Right now it's 5:52, 10 degrees. This is Live at 5. Shohei Ohtani is going to get the start in Game 4 of the World Series tonight, with the Dodgers going into the game with a 2-1 lead in the best-of-7 series against the Jays. We're going to speak with TSN Radio's Matt Cauz after the break.
And the game is tied.
Well, the Jays and Dodgers are going to meet again for Game 4. This is tonight after that epic 18-inning marathon. Game 3 last night saw the Dodgers win 6-5, taking a 2-1 lead in the World Series. Right now, we're joined live by TSN Radio's Matt Cauz. Matt, we got a lot of ground to cover, starting with this. Your reaction to last night. Did you stay up to watch it to the very end?
Okay, shameful admission. I fell asleep before the end of the game, which is even more shameful when you consider that Sandy Koufax watched the whole game, sat there, then afterwards congratulated the Dodgers. The man is 89 years old. He shamed a lot of us. I stayed up as late as I can. It was a devastating loss if you're a Jays fan, because this is now part of baseball history. No one wants to be on the bad side of history. And Freddie Freeman there, the first player ever to have 2 walk-off home run games in the World Series. Shohei Ohtani getting on base 9 times. That's never happened in the playoffs. It was a remarkable performance by both teams, but the Dodgers get to be the heroes because they scored the last run.
Okay, so speaking of, can the Jays do it tonight? Can they win?
Yeah, absolutely. They can win this game. Both teams are going to be equally tired. And remember, Shohei Ohtani, he was certainly very active yesterday. And that's the guy starting today. I'm curious about his effectiveness. Also, I'm curious to see how much they pitch to him. The big concern is that George Springer, we're still waiting. I don't know if he's going to play tonight. Bo Bichette, we saw him moving out there. He was shuffling around the base paths. So 2 of the best bats for the Blue Jays, one will probably be out. The other is going to be limited. You can't have that this time of year against the Dodgers team that is actually getting healthier and healthier. If the Dodgers had this health in the regular season, they would have probably won 100-plus games. So the Jays do have a chance, but the Dodgers should be considered the clear favorite.
Matt, when talking about attitude and mindset, I have to refer to what Schneider said earlier. Listen, they didn't win the World Series. They won a game when talking about the Dodgers.
Yeah, and by the way, that is the right approach. What John Schneider needs to do is not listen or hear people like me, gas bags like me, that'll just tell you about the statistics and things like that. And that's been consistent with John Schneider all year in the playoffs, one game at a time. And at least they have the fact that they came back to beat Seattle. They were down 2-0. They were down 3-2. They were down 3-1 in Game 7. So they have this in them. The problem is with each game, they seem to be losing one player after another. They've got a lot of guys that have been great feel-good stories. The question is, can that continue? Eventually, star players win in moments like this, and they're going to need a star performance. Certainly from Shane Bieber, who's going to have to go 6-7 innings, and Vladimir Guerrero Jr., who had nice moments last night, but did not have an RBI.
Okay, recipe for getting the W tonight for the Jays.
Recipe for getting the W tonight, they've got to convert with runners in scoring position. You saw throughout last night's game, they were unable to do that in regulation and in all the extra innings. Do that. Limit the power. Keep it so that you're not seeing Ohtani or Teoscar Hernandez hitting home runs. And Shane Bieber's got to go at least 6 innings and give the Jays a chance. You get those 3 things, you can win this game.
TSN Radio's Matt Cauz. Thanks a lot. And stay up this
time. Absolutely. Yeah.
All right, this World Series run, it has a former Blue Jays bat boy and ball boy reminiscing on 1992 and 93. Darren Kritzer, seen here with the Commissioner's Trophy. He joined the team when he was just 16 years old. He had a front row seat to the back-to-back championships. And Kritzer brought some incredible Blue Jays memorabilia to CP24 breakfast.
One of my favorites, John Olerud, from one of those runs there. World Series MVP in 1992, Pat Borders. That's one of his bats right here. And then Candy Maldonado, special relationship with him. I was actually the ball boy in 92, so I was down the left field line, and I had to throw a Candy between innings. My hand still hurts a little bit from how hard he used to throw. But yeah, he's one of my favorites. And yeah, so I have a few things, and yeah, I thought I'd bring a few things today.
That's great. Do you keep these bats sort of on display at your house? I mean, like, how do you sort of mark that personally?
Yeah, absolutely. I know I had the jerseys as well, which I haven't worn this one.
This jersey is the one you were wearing.
This is the actual jersey from 1993 when Joe hit that home run. Yeah, it still fits pretty good.
It's 5:59, 10 degrees. Thank you for watching Live at 5. CTV News at 6 is next.